Hi, everybody. I find the best way to start out a hangout is with a joke. What do you call a dentist who cleans an alligator's teeth? Crazy. Welcome to my Google Hangout. It's 1 something in the afternoon, 1:14 in the afternoon, April 12th. And I'm broadcasting live from Cleveland, Ohio, near Lake Erie. I'm near the shore of Lake Erie, a stone's throw from it if I had a really good throwing arm. It's a sunny day and spring has shown itself. I had a daffodil, or daisy, I was going to bring down and show you. No, a dandelion from the yard. I picked it. If you want to see that, I have that on my blog. You can go visit my other channel for that. This is my spiritual walkway, and I want to talk about growing spiritually. Growing spiritually and emotionally for me. Growing emotionally has been a result of growing spiritually for me in my life. I've heard this saying that, excuse me, I want to get comfortable. I've heard this saying, fix the spiritual and the mental and physical will take care of itself. And I believe in that. I believe that then that's working for me. It's been working that way for me in my life. And there's been some, people can have some pretty rough patches in their lives. I think the Irish call it a rough patch, and I'm not Irish, but I've heard that expression. Okay. So I'm going to pull out a Bible. I don't know a whole lot about a Bible, but I have two. I have a Bible, and then I have like a teaching type of Bible. It's called The Complete Guide to the Bible. And I don't know the Bible really well. I know a lot of parts of the Bible because of other books that have been instructional for me in living a better life and learning how to handle life better. That's what I have been seeking since 1989. Since 1989, I've been working on growing, on being able to handle my life in a better way. Let me say hello in the chat box first, in case you're there. Hello, I'm here. This is Nancy. You see my 3 squigglies? Live on the spiritual. Called this the Spiritual Walkway. Why did I call this channel the Spiritual Walkway? That's a good question you ask. I have 4 YouTube channels. This one is called the Spiritual Walkway because I have an internet magazine, which is how I started life out on the internet, was through an internet magazine. And that magazine is called Your Health and Tech Friend. And in order to get the magazine off the ground, I was told to make a video. So I made 1 video for YouTube on a channel that I just titled with my name, Nancy Koncilja-Gurish. And from there, over the years, over the couple of years, I started to make some videos on talking about spiritual matters that were of interest and importance to me. And there came to be so many of them that I decided to open up another channel. And one of the departments in my magazine is called the Spiritual Walkway. And so I realized that having a YouTube channel called the Spiritual Walkway would be a nice segue. I have the emotional pathway, and that is it, and the devotional doorway. I've got the internet avenue, and eventually maybe I'll have a YouTube channel for each of those departments. You never know. The year December of 2012 and 13, I believe it was one of the most challenging times in my life. It was one of the most absolutely challenging times in my life that I have ever experienced. I can't explain to you the amount of, I had fear and frustration, and I had a lot of spirit. What I'm trying to say is that year was the most challenging for me in my life to date. And what happened for me, the reason I'm making this hangout today is to share that part of what happened for me in my life at that time and how I got through that hard time. It was through music. I had 2 CDs. It was a double CD. It was an Anne Murray, and she was singing spiritual hymns. every day in that for 5 weeks in that year, December of 2012 and 13. I think it was 12 and 13, or going over 13 and 14, the years 2013 and 14. Every day for 5 weeks, I had to drive a certain distance. It was 13 miles each way for a particular task that I had to accomplish. Every day for 5 weeks, I went back and forth. Sometimes I went back frequently. I went twice a day, okay, on this journey. And it was really, really hard for me. I had never faced a situation like that before in my life. I may get into that specific one day, but this isn't the time for that, and this isn't the video. What I did was I listened to that Anne Murray CD. I'd put that in my tape player on my drive, and do you know, it gave me the strength to get through what I needed each day in that time frame, in that 5 weeks. It gave me the strength to go forward. And it was a brutal winter. It was an icy winter. So the elements in the winter were matched the feeling that I had: cold, bitter, and harsh. And that was actually, that whole type of experience was repeated over the winter, last winter of 2014 and 15. It was cold and harsh and brutal. And it was my spirituality that got me through those times. Excuse me. As long as nobody's chatting back and forth with me, I'm going to take the opportunity. I had a late night last night, and I'm drinking coffee, and I'm drinking my water with my minerals in it. So the Anne Marie's spiritual tape got me through. But her words came from the Bible. The words in the songs were all about Jesus and God and being strong, and God, the King, God, being stronger than me and being able to bear anything that I needed to shore me up, giving me the strength, that God would give me the strength to get through whatever I needed to get through at that time. And I was taking it a day at a time. And I was looking for strength to get through that very day at that time, each of those days. And I got through. And on the end of that 5 weeks, I was a stronger person. I was integrally, from the inside of me, the fabric of me was stronger than it has ever been in my life. It's amazing that and you know, in the words, listened to part of her CD today. Excuse me, and she says, what was it that I don't know, but I don't want to, my mind is sort of drifting. I don't know if it's because I've got my mind on too many places, and I should be here with you and present now. And I'm going to do that. I was going to, excuse me. So I want to share with you that this was what was in the song. On the other side of peace on the other side of pain is either peace or something. On the other side of pain is peace, and there's growth. On the other side of challenges is a lot of growth. And by the word challenge, you can replace that with troubles or sadness. On the other side of all of that is peace and healing and growth. And there was another thing I wanted to talk about with this video, is where I am today and what's happening for me today. That was then, and this is now. I went through another period like that, like I said, over last winter, where I was stretched. The fabric of myself was stretched so fine that it was unbelievable. I thought I wasn't going to last another minute. Each day, each and every day was such a trudge. Trudge means to go forward with purpose. It was very, very difficult for me. And I did it a day at a time with a lot of prayer, whole lot of prayer every day, and just knowing that I had to do something for one day only. And then when my day was done, I would go to sleep, and I would sleep and good. And then the next morning was a new day. And the way I did that was with prayer. And so you fast forward up to today, it's April of 2016, and have been having to be more mature these days in my life than I've ever had to be in my life. I've been through those times back then, I think would be called trials. And what I'm experiencing today is a trial. It's a lot of trial in a big sense. But I can see the growth. I can see the maturity that I have, probably because of those experiences, that is enabling me to do the day today. Because all I see in life is having to do the task that is at hand is doing the day for me. And that gets more important to me as I get older. I turned 60 in March this past month, which is a milestone birthday, you know, and it made me, a couple years back, I looked at my life and I said, where do I want to see my life going forward? How do I want to see me going forward in life? I know what the back past looked like. One decision I made it's probably going on 3 years now, was to wear dresses. And I wear them every single day, regardless of whether or not I'm on YouTube. I wear a dress and have worn a dress every single day except for 2 days, I believe, in the past 3 years. I made that decision and I made a commitment to myself, and I just did it. I shopped at first I got a dress at the thrift store, and then I went to the dress barn. And I bought about 5 dresses, excuse me, I'm tired. Then I would buy dresses at the thrift store every now and then. And that's where most of my dresses come from. And I enjoy it. I've really enjoyed that. So that was something I made a decision on like 2.5 years ago. Now I've looked at myself and I thought, what needs to go? What needs to happen going forward? How do I want my life to look going forward? And one thing that came to mind was being quiet. And that sure does not seem to go along with a person who makes their living partially by making YouTube videos. You know, I'm talking and talking now. But when I'm not talking on a Google Hangout or in a video or in my blog, which is what I was trying to double duty here, when I'm not talking on there, I'm talking about my everyday walk with my family, with my relationships with my family and my friends. I want to be more quiet. I want to practice like the art of solitude, you know, of quietness, because I've realized that I had been talking for a lot of years. In the past couple of years, I've gotten more quiet. I've been learning and I've been growing. I've been praying. I pray the rosary, and that has been what has really helped me to grow. Whether or not you're Catholic, you don't have to be Catholic to pray the rosary. It's very meditative and it's very, very powerful. Some of the wisest people have recommended praying the rosary. So that's one thing I want to see as myself going forward. I want to see myself being quiet because I want to continue. I want to start learning in a better way. Another thing I want to do is read books, but I have to find out what sources of books, what books I need to read before my time is up, because our time on earth is temporary. You know, this is only like a proving ground for the life to come. And a lot of years of mine were squandered on drinking because I'm an alcoholic in recovery. I'm in recovery for 27 years, which is very, very important, to me, and very valuable. But for like 15 years, and even a little bit before that, I was wandering aimlessly. I wasn't learning. I wasn't growing. I was doing. You know, I was working, and I wasn't building relationships because I was drinking, and I didn't know much, and I didn't know. And in fact, what's worse is thinking you do know and don't know anything. So I want to use the rest of the time of my life in that regard, in learning and growing. One thing I'm going to read is I want to learn something of the Bible. I want to keep learning from it because it's very, very valuable. It teaches us things like how to eat, what kind of supplements to take. It teaches us how to heal our own bodies. So that goes along with my other channel. I love the things that I learn in here. It says in here in Ecclesiastes that men will learn how to make, that we will make salves for our health. That's like, or ointments. And that's like I use black salve on my other channel. And it says that God put everything on this earth that is for our healing, for our bodies. He gave us everything on the earth for our own healing. And so I want to do that. I want to read this for that, as well as for the teaching that Jesus has for us, that teaches us how to treat each other and how to live and how to accept one another, how to accept what's going on in our world, because our world is absolutely bonkers. There's insanity going on. If you haven't seen it, open your eyes, because it's just plain insanity. And that's all I'll say about that. Now, somebody recommended this book to me. It's The Complete Guide to the Bible, and I'm not sure if I'm going to read it. I have ADD and OCD, which has gotten better through prayer, but it does seem it's going to cover the basics for me of the Bible. It might be a good study guide with me, but I like reading the real words out of the Bible. And in fact, I had a King James version. I have found out that the Catholic Bible is the most complete. They didn't remove the books of some publishers for certain faiths have removed some portions of the Bible because they want to spotlight certain portions. From what I understand, the Catholic Bible has left all that in, and that's so that might be a tool for me. I mentioned it to somebody that I wanted to read the things that have been taken out, and they said then you're going to want a Catholic Bible because those things weren't taken out. And so going forward the rest of them, I can tell you that God is helping me to withstand and to weather a lot of storms, a real lot. And he's, there's words that I haven't read a lot in quite a long time. I haven't read like I used to read when I was a young kid. I read a lot, and I had a really good vocabulary because of it. There's a certain strength that fabric has, and there's a certain strength that rope has, as an example. And there's the word, there's an integral strength. There's something inside of us that I am developing as an individual. When you're small, we always look to adults and we thought they're so wise and they're so learned. How do they know so much? And as an adult, I'm 60 now, I'm realizing that some people, younger people, may look up and believe that older people know more. You don't know more unless you make an effort to learn more. Otherwise, your body just gets taller and it ages. You don't necessarily learn more unless you strive to learn more. And I'm going to use my Bible and other books to learn more. But what has been teaching me is life. Life has smacked me in the face from left and right and upside down and all over, and it just came at me quick. And my prayer, God gave me the ability. It was God, from my prayers and from the people who pray for me, that gave me the ability to withstand and to weather and to grow, to meet these things, to meet a task like that or a challenge is what you need when you grow up. You need the skills to meet these challenges. And I think that I don't want to talk a lot about the world, but I know that in my own life, there's only been certain people who have actually given me good knowledge, just taken the time out and could get through my bullheadedness to help me to learn some things that would help me to grow. And a lot of people don't have the ability to teach young kids what it takes to grow anymore and what it means to be mature and to actually grow up. And that's why we have a world of a lot of craziness. There's a lot of people that aren't growing up, and those people are raising kids, and they're raising kids, and they're raising kids, and so who's supposed to know what if you never learn? So that's other part of my task. And now I'm over talking. So I'm going to see what time it is. Excuse me. It is 1:33. And I believe that's all I need to say. I'm going to say goodbye on my chat. If you've been there, thanks for being here. And if you're not, and you see this in the replay, I'll see you again very soon. I hope to see you very soon. I would like to make a regular routine of this. On that note, have a blessed day. I found out we're not lucky, we're actually blessed. The word blessed was taken away and replaced by luck. There's no luck, it's God. It's either God or another force working against us. God works for us. Other forces work against us. Peace.